Yo guys, Jonathan here, and this is the OnePlus 5T. So alongside the OnePlus 5T, you get the dash charge USB-C cable, the power brick, quick start guide, SIM tool, and if you flip that quick start guide, you get a not that great of a case, but it's still cool that they included it. So today I want to break this down into 5 things to know before you potentially go out there and buy a OnePlus 5T. Unless you're a OnePlus 5 owner, then you're probably a little upset. I'm sorry. With that said though, the first thing I want to talk about is pricing. Now there were rumors that the OnePlus 5T could cost upwards of nearly $700. And if that upsets you, take a deep breath, you'll be happy to hear the OnePlus 5T starts out at $499. That'll get you 64 gigs of storage with 6 gigabytes of RAM, or alternatively, you can double your storage and bump that RAM up all the way to 8 gigabytes for $559. Now I've seen the argument that you could pick up an unlocked Galaxy S8 in the $500 range on Amazon, but to clarify, those are refurbished models. The cheapest new Galaxy S8 I've seen is about $630 right now. Regardless though, I will link both of those down below. I'm curious to hear what sounds more enticing, a refurbished Galaxy S8 or OnePlus 5T. Next up is probably the biggest change to the OnePlus 5T, and that is the display. OnePlus has finally joined that 18:9 super tall screen party. So this essentially is a 6-inch display, 2160 by 1080, which may be a turnoff for some of you enthusiasts out there. Again, given the price point, I think the screen looks fantastic, and if you need more resolution, you can hop up to a Galaxy S8 or even the fan favorite, the LG B30. What's nice with this though is if you stack it up side by side against the OnePlus 5, the form factor really hasn't changed. You are just getting a taller display. Because of the display though, you do lose the fingerprint reader on the bottom that effectively is moved towards the back in a much better location than the Galaxy S8 or Note 8. It's right smack in the middle and it works really well. Now at the event, OnePlus was not shy to take shots at Google and their Pixel 2 display issues, and for those curious about the OnePlus 5T, I have not seen any blue shipped on this phone. It looks fantastic, and again, the only potential drawback for some of you out there is it's a 1080p display. Now from there, the third thing to talk about is the camera, or dual cameras rather. It still features a 16 and 20 megapixel sensor just like the OnePlus 5 did, but what's kind of weird is that secondary lens is no longer a telephoto lens. It's the same exact focal length, the same exact aperture, and from what I understand, OnePlus is claiming that the secondary lens is going to be a low light lens, so when it knows you're in a lower light situation, it's going to opt to use that one instead. So with that comes a couple different things. One, portrait mode will still in fact work. The only difference is because those are the same focal length, the image will no longer be cropped. Now number 2, when you punch in on the OnePlus 5T camera, that zoom is purely digital. So to give an example of how everything looks, here's a shot taken on the OnePlus 5T. Here's that same shot punched in. I'm curious to know what you guys think of the quality. Same thing here, here's a shot straight out of the OnePlus 5T camera, and as we zoom in, I gotta say, I don't notice too much in terms of a quality loss, but it's still kind of weird to me that they opted for no telephoto lens. Now this here was one of my favorite shots, and a couple notes. 1, this was using that fake digital telephoto zoom in, and 2, this was not using portrait mode, it was just straight out of the camera. Now from there, as far as low light goes, I actually got a pretty amazing test thanks to Mr. Linus Tech Tips, and the event was super dark. So here is an example of the flash on the OnePlus 5T. Looks very nice. From there, brace yourselves. This was straight low light, no flash or anything. You're welcome. From there, here's a quick selfie shot from the OnePlus 5T. Nothing special or magical, but still really solid. I gotta say, overall first impressions with the OnePlus 5T camera are really good. Now from there, the fourth thing to talk about is there is now Face Unlock. Love the name, now on the OnePlus 5T. From what I can tell, OnePlus is not banking on this being the primary form of security on this phone, especially because you can only use it to unlock things. As far as purchases go, you must use your fingerprint to do those. With that said though, setup was insanely fast, and I think the unlock process may be even faster. No joke, you literally pick up the phone, hold it up to your face, and you are in the phone. So is Face Unlock a game changer on the OnePlus 5T? Nope, but it is a super fast and convenient way to get into the phone, and for those who still want that trusty fingerprint reader, you get the best of both worlds. Now the last thing I want to talk about is the OnePlus 5T isn't that much different than the OnePlus 5. The weird part is the OnePlus 5 was not released that long ago, so I'm sure some of you out there who just bought that phone gotta be feeling a little left out in the dark. They did this last year with the OnePlus 3 and 3T, so it's kind of setting a track record to not buy the first iteration of the phone. The other kind of weird part too is it's so late in the year, we're getting closer to the Galaxy S9, or Samsung's probably gonna call it the Galaxy S10. Either way though, it's really late in the year. And from there, I'm curious to know what you guys think of this. Now at the event, OnePlus kind of defended this by comparing it to a software update in the sense that if you had the ability to upgrade hardware, why wait a year? For me, it just kind of feels like this is what the OnePlus 5 should have been. Based off reactions on Twitter or at the event, I think most people would tend to agree. Granted, there are some pretty solid updates to Oxygen OS, which is super clean and customizable. One feature in particular that I think is really cool are parallel apps. So for example, maybe up to Twitter accounts, to Instagram accounts, to Facebook accounts, you can actually have parallel versions of these where you're logged in at the same time and choose which one you want to launch. From there, maybe the OnePlus 5 really didn't do it for you and you held off buying that, and now the OnePlus 5T makes way more sense. Aside from that, hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did and you are feeling like being awesome, make sure to go super sexy Linus on that like button. This is Jonathan, and I will catch you guys later.